You're listening to the home of cool, irreverent, and entertaining talk, right here on LA Talk Radio. You're listening to The Art of Love with your host, Lucia, right here on LA Talk Radio.
Hello, and welcome to The Art of Love. My name is Lucia. I am a dating and relationship expert, and I'm here to entertain, educate, and enlighten you about love, dating, and relationships, solve your dating dilemmas, take live calls, answer your emails, and speak to authors of books, which I find interesting. And this week, I don't have the author here because the book is, and I'm sure you've heard of it, Act Like a Lady, Think Like a Man. And Steve Harvey could not be here today. And so I have the next best thing, and that would be my friend Gina Hendricks from the show Love Life Makeovers, also here on LA Talk Radio. Hello, darling.
Hello. Thank you for having me. I'm excited.
Hey, I needed to talk to someone.
Thanks a lot.
I can't just be reviewing this book by myself.
Absolutely. Even though I haven't read the book, but
you don't have to.
I can wing it.
That's right.
You'll be talking to somebody live here who doesn't know a thing about that book. This would be exciting.
But you know about dating and relationships.
Oh, yeah.
In fact, what are you up to these days with your business?
With my business? Well, for those of you guys that don't know me, I am a matchmaker and a love coach here in Los Angeles, and I have a company and a website called SelectiveandSingle.com. That's selective and A-N-D, single.com. And, what I do is just always try to help people find love one way or another. And so with my show, I'm here every Wednesday at 11 a.m.
Right.
with my show. And, I'm just always trying to think of new ways to help people, help singles as well as married people create better relationships and find love. And so I have come up with this great new thing I'm doing for all of my female listeners that are all over the country. This is a way I can actually help them a little bit more up close and personal. And I'm going to be doing these teleclasses, or I call them coaching calls. Mm-hmm. So basically, people can go to my website, selectiveandsingle.com, and there's a button that says Coaching Club, and the ladies can sign up, and it starts this May, the first week of May.
Okay.
And so the ladies can either do private one-on-one coaching classes with me or group coaching classes, which are going to be really fun because we're going to have all this huge group of ladies all trying to cheer each other on with the goal to make their relationships better, find love. And what I'm going to be doing, Lucia, and this, you'll love this because we're all on the same page here with same boat, is I have kind of taken all the bits of information from all the experts that I've interviewed on all my shows and filtered it between what I think works and what doesn't work based on my experience in the love trenches. Yeah. And also all my successful male clients, everything I hear about what they want from women and look for, I have packaged this all and made this group coaching program and my one-on-one, same thing. It's just more intensive with the Love Life Makeovers workbook for the private group, private one-on-one. And so I call it Into the Hearts and Heads of Men, and I'm teaching women how to, think the way a man thinks, but also get a little bit better of an understanding. And I'm just sharing everything I've learned along the way with these ladies. So for your listeners, though, I thought of this earlier. I was like, I'm going to offer something special just for Lucia's listeners. So if they go to my website, selectiveandsingle.com, and you click the Coaching Club button, and you sign up for either the one-on-one or the group coaching, if you're the first 10 listeners, you have to follow up with an email to me and say, hey, I signed up for your coaching club and I heard you on Lucia's show. I will give the first 10 ladies that sign up a choice of either the Sex and the City DVD movie or the movie He's Just Not That Into You.
Hey,
they can pick which one they want.
I want that one.
I know. Oh, it's so good. Did you see the movie?
No, I didn't. That's why I wanted.
So good. So anyway, that's just for your lady listeners, and they've got to do it soon because these classes are going to fill up. And I also have gift bags I'm giving the ladies if they sign up by the 24th of April. So, get on it because the classes are going to start in May. They're going to be ongoing.
Right.
But, you want to kind of
start in the beginning.
You want to start in the group with everybody and, you just want to get going as soon as you can so you can make your summer sizzle. That's what I'm going to do.
Hey,
Let's make our summer sizzle.
SS. Okay,
There you go.
That's perfect because
That's
we're going
what
to
I'm
be
doing.
talking today about thinking like a man.
Great.
And, I saw Steve on Oprah.
Yes, every lady that
Everybody
I know
saw
did.
it.
Yes, except me. I didn't see him on
Except
Oprah
you.
either.
Shame on you.
Yes.
And, it really hit a chord with me, and obviously with a lot of people because the book is the #1 bestseller. And I think it spoke to things we already knew, but we were denying.
Sure. I think we do that a lot. I think that's common.
Yeah. And
Is he married?
He's married, yeah.
Okay.
He even talks about how he ended up being married to this person. We have time,
great.
I'll go into that because there's a lot to cover. So let's start with the chapter where he talks about how a man's love isn't the same as a woman's love.
Okay.
And so he says that if a man loves a woman, he'll do 3 things. He's going to profess his love, he's going to provide, and he's going to protect.
Okay.
So
I don't disagree.
Right. So just to briefly go over. So profess means that he's willing to tell everybody that you're his girlfriend.
Sure.
And he's basically claiming you. He's giving you a title. So he says if he doesn't give you a title, then he's just thinking of you as his friend.
Right. I agree.
Right. So, that's the way to know whether he really is.
It's obvious things that that we all should know. And you know what, really, we do all know, don't you think? But we don't want to believe that I think the problem with a lot of ladies, and men, but certainly the ladies, we just think that we're the exception to the rule.
Right.
You know what I mean? Oh, he hasn't paid child support with his last 2 kids, but if we have a child together, he's all of a sudden not going to be a deadbeat. He's going to be a fantastic guy. And,
Right,
it's
right.
just these lies we tell ourselves to make this guy our prince, to make
Right.
him fit the mold.
Right. And we're so used to not having a title that we just assume that's the natural state of things. And we don't realize, no, if he's not, because it says a profession is key. You will know if a man is serious about you once he claims you. So until a man claims you, he's not serious.
Oh, sure. I know. Duh. Yeah.
Okay, so on to the provider one.
Okay.
Now, it says that being a provider is at the very core of manhood. So all those guys that say, well, I want to go Dutch, and why do I have to pay?
You don't want to go out those losers
Well,
anyway.
they're not men, they're
No.
boys. And also, they don't care. That's why they're not willing to provide.
Well, right. Yeah. No, I know.
Because
I know.
a real, I know it seems so
I know.
like we should know this, but again, we've forgotten it and we're putting up with.
Yeah, we put up see, Lucia, that's the problem. We're willing to accept crumbs rather than wait for, the good guy.
Well, not even necessarily wait. We're going to get to a chapter about standards, which that's the thing that really got to me.
Oh, really?
So we're going to
Okay.
talk about, because you think you have to wait for the good guy. It's like, no, you raise your standards, and if the guy's interested, he'll raise up to meet them.
Now, here's what I find. You tell me if you might disagree.
Okay.
I find the majority of ladies would rather have a super hot loser than a normal, average to unattractive guy who's just a phenomenal guy and will treat them really well. Yes or no?
Well, it depends. A lot of girls today, they're girls. A lot of women, they're girls. They're not women. Do you know what I mean? So they haven't grown up. So, and if they haven't grown up, they're not going to be willing to accept a man, and they're going to go for the good-looking guy who's going to treat them bad.
Right. Or that he doesn't have a job or, a car, God forbid. So, yeah, I just think that women, I experience it with my events that I do. People, you put single people in a room, all the cute, every girl, whether she's cute or not, is going to like the cutest guy there.
Right.
And every guy, whether he's cute or not, is always going to like the cutest girl there. And, it's, relationships are so much more than that.
Exactly.
Which is
I know.
what he talks about
Yeah, you
in
have to
this
get
book.
that. I know. Luckily, I got past that because I met someone who didn't fit the mold of what I usually go for. And at first, it was like, oh, hell no. And then as I got to know, I'm like, oh, okay. And so now, luckily, I've gone past that superficiality, and I'm willing to look beyond.
Good.
Not too far beyond.
Yes.
Doesn't mean I'm going to go out with someone that's 50 pounds overweight.
Right.
You know.
You're not completely evolved, just partially. No.
But well, hey, there has to be attraction there,
I
right?
know.
But at least I'm willing.
Sure.
I'm not just going for the pretty boy anymore.
Okay, because he's not, this guy, it's not? that you're
No.
with? That's not true. That's not true. He is cute, isn't he?
He's cute, but he's not a pretty boy.
Oh, he's not.
No.
I have never met him, but I always envisioned him to be,
No.
Oh, well,
no.
I
no,
must
in
see
fact,
him.
I told him that his face was unconventional.
Okay, that's a backhanded compliment if I've ever heard one.
It was meant as a nice thing,
Yeah. What did he say?
I don't remember. I don't think he said anything.
Yeah, I think it's hard to
'cause
have a comeback for that
He
one.
said his face was ugly, so I said it's not ugly, it's unconventional.
Okay.
Because it's
So
not
then
ugly.
Yeah. Oh, I got to see this guy.
Okay, I'll send you a picture.
Oh, good.
All right, so yeah, it says, know this. It is your right to expect that a man will pay for your dinner, your movie ticket, your club entry fee,
Hell
whatever
yeah.
else he has to pay for in exchange for your time.
Hell yeah. Any man that tries to talk you out of doing those things, or him doing those things, he's just trying to manipulate you. He knows what the right thing to do is, but it would benefit him if he got you to accept crumbs or,
Right, and if he can't pay, I mean, I understand a lot of people have money problems, then he'll do things for you to help you out whenever he can. That's the same thing.
Absolutely. You can,
Yeah, he'll be there when you call, put up a shelf, whatever. Okay, find the protect. It says, if he cares about you, you're a prized possession to him. He'll do anything to protect that prized possession. There's not a real man living who will not protect what is his. It's about respect.
Hear, 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 hear.
So if he's not willing to
jump in front of a car?
Well, I don't know about that. And it says, I firmly believe that a real woman can bring out the best in a man. Sometimes we only need to meet a real woman in order to bring out our best qualities. So, if you're a woman and you expect him to step up to the plate, then sometimes, if he's ready, that'll happen.
Well, one of the best pieces of advice a friend gave me years and years ago, he said, Gina, you teach people how to treat you.
Right.
You teach
Dr.
people
Phil?
how to
That
treat
was
you.
Dr. Phil.
Oh, really? Well, Dr. Phil wasn't even on when he said this.
I know.
So I know you love Dr. Phil.
No,
I'm teasing you. But yes, and it's true. You know what I mean? It's the same thing. So I think that, far too many men get away with shit.
Because women let them.
Because you let them. Yes, absolutely.
Like myself, I expect a man to open a door for me. And so if I get to a door and I'm with a man, I stand and wait for him to open it.
Now, let me ask you this, because this I haven't taken the whole manners thing this far.
Okay.
But, I mean, I'm hardcore, too, like that. I like to be treated well. I like the whole manners thing. But when you get to your destination with a guy and he's driving, you're in the passenger seat, do you wait for him to get out, come around, and let you out of the car?
I don't think so.
See, I've never done that either, but my friend Karen, she's married, and she said, well, yeah, like to her that was just normal. Like she's a rules girl and the whole bit. And she just thought that was normal. So like she wouldn't get out of the car. Like she just didn't get out. And then they figure it out same way. They figure out they got to come around and let you out. I mean, that is, like I said, I've never taken it that far.
Right.
Because I even think these days most guys just are really not used to that. They're used to opening the car door when they're going to put you into the car.
Right.
You know what I
But
mean?
not getting you out. They put you in, but you can't get out.
I know, right? They put you in. They've given you a roofie.
You're not getting out.
No.
Okay, there's lots to cover here. We've got to move along. Now,
speaking of a rules girl,
we have to have some new rules now.
Oh, we got to wing it. It's fun when we, that show that you were with me, we did.
Yeah.
It was like through the roof, and we were just winging it.
I know.
Okay,
I'm always winging it.
Go structure, go.
Okay, so the next one is the 3 things every man needs. And that is your support.
And they don't mean financial.
Well, your loyalty, and what he calls, of course, the cookie, which is sex. So with the support thing, I didn't know this. Because, again, you don't grow up knowing these things, that they want your support and they really value it. This guy, he's an actor, ex-football player, really good looking. And, I found out who his ex-girlfriend was. And they were together for a lot of years, and she was not that hot. And I was like, what? And so I asked him, I said, I'm surprised that she was your girlfriend for that long. We had that kind of relationship where I could just be that honest. And he's like, well, she was very loyal and supportive. And I'm like, damn, is it that important? So apparently it is.
Yeah.
Who knew?
But don't you think there is a fine line between, and I think this is where women get into trouble, because you tell a woman something like that they need to be supportive of their man and da-da-da, and the next thing you know, she's his mama. You know what I mean?
No, you don't
she's
want
like,
it's not about
tucking
being his
in
mom.
his shirt, and she's
not that kind.
No. But it is a fine line, and women, because we're maternal, it's easy for us to kind of tweak that information and let it get the best of us. So it's a fine line. You just have to be supportive, but not mothering.
Right. The only time you mother a guy is when he's sick.
Right.
That's it.
Yes.
But, basically what Steve is saying here is we men have to feel like somebody's got our back, like we're the king, even if we're not. So no matter, they want to hear your appreciation.
Like their cheerleader.
That's right. No matter,
if you had a cheerleader outfit on, it's probably even better, too. It's no underwear.
Even if they're just working out at the post office.
Yes, absolutely.
They want you to think they're the greatest thing since sliced bread.
Yes. You have to think of them as the football superhero, and you are the cheerleader on the team.
And you got to encourage them.
Yeah.
So that's the first one. Then the loyalty. They go, love is like loyalty. We want you to show us your love by being loyal. That means no matter what, you're going to stand beside us.
Yes.
And if your loyalty is real and unimpeachable, that man will kill concrete for you. He ain't going no damn where.
And it's very true. I mean, this friend of mine was talking about how a lot of guys that she's dated lately, they just weren't ready to be in a relationship. Mm-hmm. And, God, I hated to tell her the truth, which is they didn't like her enough.
Right.
And that's the bottom line.
Yeah, exactly. Who's not ready?
Bullshit. A guy will be ready when he finds that woman that he likes enough or loves enough. Yeah. That is when he will be ready. But, a lot of guys will say, oh, I'm looking for a better career, or I'm not. And I can understand with the economy and people don't have careers. But let me tell you, if Giselle or, whoever, Shakira, whoever's super hot, Jessica Alba, he came across her, he wouldn't be telling her, oh, I'm sorry, I can't,
not
commit
ready right
because
now.
Nope.
Yeah. So obviously the last one is the no-brainer, the cookie.
Sex.
Yeah, we don't really need to go into it because we're going to talk about sex in a minute, when you should have sex. So basically it says, we need sex like we need air. Absolutely.
I think, and so many people, search and search and search for relationships. And then what happens when they get in a relationship or get married so many times? Mm-hmm. Stop having sex.
I know. What's up with that?
It's unbelievable to me. I'm like, are you kidding me? That's the only reason I'd want to be in a relationship.
That's the only reason?
Well, I mean, that's certainly a huge, huge part of it. I would want to be having sex all the time.
They get lazy.
Mm-hmm. Take each other for granted, I think, too. They forget how long they were searching or how hard they were searching before.
I know. Okay, so now we're going to move on to the chapter where he says he wants to sleep with you. So this is in continuing with the sex theme. Mm-hmm. Basically, he was saying, when a guy walks up to you and starts talking to you, it's because he wants to have sex with you.
Sure.
Obviously. I've always said an invitation to dinner is an invitation to sex.
That's right. That's funny. Yes, you're right.
Hey, you know me. I'm funny. So he says he liked what he saw from across the room, and now he's going to walk over there and get it. Mm-hmm. And so what he now needs to do is to find out how much he needs to invest. And we're not talking monetarily. We're talking about your values, your requirements. He's trying to see if your price is too high or if it's affordable or if he can get it on credit and whether he can even get it tonight. So if you don't lay out any requirements, then you're free and it's game on. He knows that he can get you into bed with minimal effort.
Yeah.
So you're the one that determines your price. Mm-hmm. And
a guy's going to take anything you give him. Why not? It's like he's a kid in a candy store, basically. And if you just say, hey, you can have any candy bar you want, and it's free, he'll grab
Come and get it.
He'll grab as much as he can. Why not?
Yeah, and actually on Oprah, he said something about this, and I wrote it down. It goes, there's two types of guys. One who's planning with you and one who's playing with you.
Oh, that's a good one now. That's a good one.
Isn't it?
It's a good phrase.
Yeah. The guy who's playing doesn't want to hear what you need and want because he's not planning on keeping you anyway. Mm-hmm. And the guy who's planning wants to know how to make you happy and how to take things to the next level.
Oh, do love that one.
So you got to determine who you're with, and also how you behave is going to determine how he's going to behave. Mm-hmm. We have that much power, but we don't realize it.
Well, the problem, though, Lucia, that I hear all the time is that I think women just aren't willing to hold out. Or the times where they're by themselves, or the long period that it might take before they found a great guy. You know what I mean? They're just not willing to go it alone. They get lonely, they get horny, all of these things. So, they give in, and that's what these guys count on.
Right.
You know what I mean?
On us getting weak.
Absolutely.
I say if you're going to have sex, if you're horny, you want to have sex, then you have sex with an ex.
Sure.
Because it's over with. You're not going to go back. You're probably not going to get get So
as long as it's an ex where you guys have both already had other relationships.
Yeah, when you're over him. Way over him.
Yeah,
like way over him.
Yeah, you can recycle an ex that way for sex.
Mm-hmm. Otherwise, don't go there. Don't go there.
Don't go there, girl.
So it says, let him know up front what your price is, and he will let you know up front if it's too high a price for him to pay, and then he can move on. Mm-hmm. So you have to set the standards right away. Mm-hmm. So, in continuing with that theme, then we go on to the chapter about sports, fish versus keepers.
Okay.
How men distinguish between the marrying types and the playthings.
Do tell it, you.
Yes. See, isn't this interesting? You haven't read this book, but aren't you learning stuff you didn't know before?
Not really, but anyway, go on. But I like hearing you tell me.
It's reinforcing some things that you already knew.
Absolutely.
Okay, so there's
that's what they all do. That's what all these books do. You know what I mean? They're all like reinforcing. It's just like you got to be ready to hear the message. Right. You got to be ready to receive all this stuff. Yes, and take action.
A friend of mine, he gives me dating advice. Everyone needs dating advice, and he's been trying to tell me this stuff for years. Right. I guess he wasn't telling it to me correctly.
Well, you weren't ready to receive the information.
Or I wasn't ready, right.
Yeah.
Because now it's like Steve Harvey's basically saying the same thing. And I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah, right. Well, same thing with the movie He's Just Not That Into You. The same thing. It's all the same thing. It's all the same thing.
Right.
Yeah.
So now, so there's two types of fish, shall we say. The kind you throw back and the kind you keep. Mm-hmm. So men look at women that way, who they're going to keep and who they're going to throw back. So, of course, it talks about what the characteristics of someone that's just one that you throw back. And it goes, she doesn't have any rules or requirements or respect for herself or guidelines, and we men can pick up her scent a mile away. She has no plans for any ongoing relationships, isn't expecting anything in particular from a man, sets absolutely not one condition or restriction on anyone standing before her. She makes it very clear she's just along for whatever is getting ready to happen. For sure, as soon as she lets a man know through these words and actions that he can treat her any old kind of way, he will do just that.
Absolutely. I think younger girls are more doing that sort of thing, don't you think? But I would think that hopefully by your at least mid-30s that you've kind of wised up and you're not just the easy party girl.
One would hope.
But
not always. But
not always. I hope.
Okay, so then he describes, of course, the keeper. She never gives in easily, and the standards and requirements start the moment you open your mouth. She understands her power, and she wields it like a samurai sword. She commands respect just from the way she carries herself. You can walk up to her and give her your best game, and while she may be impressed by what you say, that's no guarantee she's going to let the conversation go any further. Men automatically know from the moment she opens her mouth that if they want her, they have to get in line with her standards and requirements or keep it moving because she's done playing those games and isn't interested.
And and I think too, Lucia, if a guy's really hot for a girl, let's say it is like Jessica Alba or something like that, then if Jessica Alba were to act like that, with standards and everything, then the guy would step up and, and do everything it takes. If she was, I don't know, who's not particularly attractive. Can you think of somebody?
Yeah.
Who?
Drew Barrymore.
Well, I don't know. I've had some guys say that. But okay, let's say a very, very, very ugly version of Drew Barrymore. Okay. And then that girl had all these standards and blah, 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 blah. Well, the guy would say, F you, forget about it, I'm moving on. Because a guy he'll do anything for a woman that he's like attracted to for whatever reason. Right. And so there's that.
But then, of course, you never know why certain people are attracted to others. Do you know what I mean? I mean, there's someone for everyone.
Yes, no, I believe that. There is somebody for everyone. But, hey, we're in L.A.
So you're saying ugly girls should have no standards?
That does sound like what I'm saying, and that is absolutely not what I'm saying. No, because
That's what it sounds like.
I think the word ugly is relative. I think that I've certainly seen girls that I would love to give a makeover to.
Right.
I think perhaps you could do a little bit more with your appearance. You know what I mean? Yeah. You could be a little bit,
most
put
people
more of
don't
an
have
effort
it together.
into it. No.
I see women all the time. I'm like, man, if she would just do this, this, and this.
Because really, there is no ugly. I mean, come on, there is no ugly. You could fix up. You could do. I mean, Drew Barrymore is pretty. I mean, she can be ugly when she plays it down, and she can be
right.
So see, we can all
be
hot.
Ugly.
Right. Oh my God, are you kidding me? I can be hot and I can be ugly.
Right.
So that's what I'm saying. I'm just saying that if he finds you attractive, and then I think that I'm just saying, ladies, step up your game. Right. If you're going to do these rules and you want to, then you really need to step up your game. Get your act together.
You should always have your act together anyways, and you should try to look the best that you can.
That's true.
Because they can't. Otherwise, they can't see through the messy hair and the no makeup and the baggy clothes. No,
that's very true.
Unless you're a photographer, ex-photographer like myself, and I can see potential, but most guys can't see the potential.
Most guys cannot see the potential.
So you have to spell it out for them
in the beginning. Then you can let your hair down, and when you're together a little bit. Well, a little bit.
The opposite situation happened with me because I met a guy at the gym where I still look pretty good at the gym, but not as wonderful as when I'm dressed up. And so he came to pick me up for our date, and I walked out, and he was like, "Oh my God!" And he said he thought that. He goes, "I want that,"
Yeah. So see, that's awesome.
Yeah. So,
And were you total bitch to him and got him to like step in line and?
I did. This is the guy that I was upset over when I met you a year ago. Remember at the party? And I said, that's it. It's over.
Yes,
Him
from the gym.
Yeah,
That guy.
He's
Oh,
over.
yes.
I never spoke to him again.
Oh, really? Well, good for you.
Hey.
You've come a long way, baby.
Yes. All right. Moving on here. So again, it says it's not the guy who determines whether you're a sports fish or a keeper. It's you. So when a man approaches you, you're the one with total control over the situation, whether he can talk to you, buy you a drink, dance with you, etc. And it's you who decides if you're going to give us any of the things we want and how and exactly and when we're going to get them. So women have the control, but they're not using it very wisely.
You know what? I do want to say one more thing.
Go ahead.
To be clear.
Say two more things.
Okay. And then that's it, Gina. To be clear. Okay, so let's say, and Jessica Alba, I'm just going with that example. Okay, so I gave the one scenario about how if she, had the samurai sword and she had all the rules and the guy would step up. By the same token, if she were a total ditz and a party girl and super slutty, he would also go for it, but he would not respect her just because she's beautiful and he's attracted to her. Do you know what I mean?
Right.
And that's so I want to make that clear. Just because you're pretty and you're hot doesn't mean that you can still be a slut and guys will respect you. It does not work that way.
They'll sleep with you.
They'll sleep with you.
You're not going to be a keeper. You'll eventually get thrown back.
Right. Exactly.
So let me go over some of the differences between the sports fish and the keepers. A woman who's dressed appropriately, has her goodies reasonably covered, but is still sexy is a keeper. And a woman who is scantily clad in dripping sex, a throwback, obviously. A woman who won't let you feel all over her body while you're dancing is a keeper. And a woman who drops it like it's hot is obviously a throwback. Let's see. Obviously, commands respect. That's an obvious one. A woman who smiles and takes care of herself and is generally happy with her life as a keeper. A woman who doesn't take care of herself, as we were just talking about.
Saying, yeah.
Yep. And is sour all the time and has an attitude wider than the ocean and doesn't hesitate to lay somebody out for the slightest transgression is a throwback. So there's a whole list here. I just wanted to go over.
What inspired him to write the book? Do you know? Did he say that on Oprah?
I don't know.
Really? I'm surprised he didn't.
I know. You know what? It's probably in here, but hey, I didn't read that part. Okay.
Well, I mean, he probably said it on Oprah is what I was thinking.
Yeah, no, I don't remember him saying that. Okay, how to tell if you've met someone looking for a keeper or a throwback. That's important too. So here's some ways to tell. If his conversation with you is extremely superficial and never seems to graduate beyond the surface, he's sports fishing. If he's genuinely interested in your needs, life, desires, and future, then he's a keeper, or he's looking for a keeper. If he laughs off your requirements and standards, then he's sports fishing. If he seems willing to abide by your rules and actually follows through on them, then he's looking for a keeper. If he takes you out on a date and lets you pay or only kicks in his portion of the bill, obviously he's sports fishing. If he pays the bills and he's showing he's willing to provide for you, which means, of course, he's looking for a keeper.
If somebody tells someone no, tells somebody I'm not comfortable with this, or no, I don't want to do this, and the other person then tries to still talk them into it,
right,
they're manipulating them. They're trying to manipulate them. They're not valuing the person's feelings or thoughts. They're just trying to manipulate them for their own needs. So that's the easiest way. If you tell somebody I'm not comfortable with this or no, and they try to talk you into it, they're full of shit and they're just trying to manipulate you.
Right, so. Exactly. They either go along with the program or they can keep it moving.
Right.
So earlier you asked about his wife.
Yes.
So, he had met her and they were dating. And then when they were together one time, he got a phone call on his cell from another woman. And so, she didn't say anything. She was staying over at his place. She was visiting from out of town. But she got up in the middle of the night and was going to leave.
Oh.
And so he said he woke up and he said, "Where are you going?" And she gave him this great speech. And it's like, wow. And she said, "I'm not trying to be anybody's plaything or anybody's woman on a string. I don't think you're ready for what I have to offer. I got these kids, I have a good life, and I want a man who will come in and complete my family. If this is what you want to, I'll be in Memphis."
Oh, she's from Memphis?
Yeah.
Like me. How funny. Well, I'm not in Memphis anymore.
Yeah.
How funny.
Or Kansas. And so he said he realized right then and there in that hallway that he didn't want anybody else.
Oh, wow.
See, she had her standards.
Yep.
He had to rise up to meet them or she was gone.
Right. And if she had just been, just another one of the many girls that accepted, like I said, the crumbs or, whatever he was willing to give, then who knows if their relationship would have progressed.
Yeah, she said on a smaller scale, she also made it very clear that she expected to be treated like a lady at every turn, opening doors for her, pulling out her seat, and keeping the foul talk to a minimum.
Oh, really? That's funny. That's cute. She's probably religious, I would imagine.
Yeah, she is.
Oh, she is? Yeah.
And, he goes on to say that men are very simple, logical people. He says, if you tell us what you like and what you don't like, we'll do anything to make sure that we live up to your expectations, particularly if we are interested in forging a relationship with you.
Sure. I agree.
If he's interested, he'll do whatever you want.
Yes. But, I can't tell you how many women I talk to. This one girl, Susie, she's a friend of mine. She's called in on my show. She was my first guest ever, actually, on my show. And she reads all the books, and her answer to all of this, what we're saying about you have to have standards and you have to wait till the great guy comes along, is she's like, but I get lonely, and it is unfortunate, Lucia. And I don't know if it's Los Angeles or the day and age 2009, but unfortunately, because there's so many women that will accept less than they should, then for a lot of men, when you are challenging to them, they'll just keep moving.
I disagree, and that's exactly what this book is about.
Because right, I know, but the actuality of it is...
he keeps saying, someone's getting married today. It's just not you.
Right.
All right? So it's not like nobody's getting married.
Right.
And nobody's in a committed relationship.
Right.
It's like you have to believe that you're worth it.
Well, but look at me. I believe I'm worth it. But
L'Oreal.
Yes, baby. L'Oreal. I believe I'm worth it. And let me tell you, I put these guys through the ringer mostly because I'm focused on my business and doing this. So I really genuinely don't have time for them. And ain't none of them stepping up, Lucia. Mm-hmm. And I'm hot. Well, I can be hot when I want to be. And some people think I'm hot. And so, in fact, a lot. Yes. But there's no, and I do think this to myself. I don't really talk about that. But that's why I think that it's also very important to forge great friendships and with women.
Yeah.
And, because I don't really care. I feel like, I'm doing my business and I'm really trying to help others right now.
Right.
And hey, if a man's going to be a man and really step up
that's right.
to all these things, like what Steve Harvey is saying in the book, I agree. But it ain't happened yet.
Well, so that's where being a woman comes in. Because if you're a little girl, then you're going to look for the instant gratification and go, okay, no one's stepping up, so I'll just go with whoever.
Well, but I'm not with anybody.
Right, but that's what I'm saying. If you're a woman, then you're willing to wait. It's like, okay, I'm going to wait until someone
happens.
is willing to step up.
Exactly. So, and it ain't the end of the world.
No.
It's almost better in the long run, I say, in all these years, like a relationship and all these men that I cared about and cried about and everything else hadn't gotten me a house. It hadn't gotten me,
Didn't get you anything. It just wasted your time.
Hasn't gotten anything except the experience I have today, Lucia. And so, growing my business and helping everybody else is, for me, it's enough. And then when the man is like a man and can do it, bring it on.
Right. Yeah, I mean, I actually had lunch last week with an ex-boyfriend. Like, we broke up years ago. And I was with this guy for ages, and I was so much drama with him, and just the hell I went through. I mean, it was like my worst relationship ever. Mm-hmm. And I'm sitting there, it's like, I had nothing to say to him. I nothing to talk about.
Interesting.
Couldn't have cared. It's like, I can't believe, because I was a different person than before.
Right.
But when I first met him, I actually tried to break up with him because I knew it wasn't right, but I wasn't strong enough. I wasn't mature enough at the time. And I remember I went to his house to break up with him, and he knew I wasn't going to be able to do it. And he just laughed. I'm like, I can't see you anymore. He's like, oh. He goes, oh, Chia. Because he knew.
Right.
He had my number.
Yeah.
So I just wished I had, woken up a little earlier, because I wasted a lot of time with him.
I know. It's unfortunate, and it gets even worse when a woman has children involved, and then she's still picking these guys that are worthless.
Yeah,
that's why,
really bad.
Like in the case of Steve Harvey's wife, she told him she had children.
Right. Maybe that's
so
what made
she
her.
was, standing up for her kids as well as herself, which I think is what more women need to do, especially if you have children involved.
Absolutely.
You really don't want to date a loser.
No. Okay. Moving on to sex.
Okay.
Always our favorite topic. So now, how long do you think he says that one should wait to have sex? A woman should wait?
Well, I would say till the man verbalizes that they are exclusive, and however long that takes.
Well, what if he verbalizes it after a month?
Then I think that would be fine.
Okay. So he said something different.
Yeah.
It's funny because I get the question, I'm sure you get it too, is it okay to have sex on the first date? Or when should I have sex on the third date?
Third. Everybody has 3.
Yeah, what
number
is this?
3 is in everyone's head.
And it's like, are you crazy? It's like, why is this even a question?
Right.
Why would you want to have sex on the first date? Why would you want to have sex on the third date?
Yeah.
It's like, would you lend your car to someone you just had one date with?
Exactly the same. Yeah, I say that too. That's
I wouldn't lend my car to anybody.
Right.
But would you lend your car to someone you've had 3 dates with?
Right. Exactly.
So you won't give them your car, but you'll give them your body,
Right.
which is supposed to be a gift.
But
your sex and your sexuality.
but the women would say, well, I want to have sex, so and I say, you know what? My hand gets there way quicker than a brand new guy.
So you're saying that your car is more important than your body, is what you're saying?
That's not what I'm saying.
No, not you, but I'm just saying these
right.
women that say I want to have sex.
Apparently. I
But-
guess.
And then you know what? They're lying. They're not. They don't want to have sex. They want love, and they're
I know.
trying to obtain it through sex.
Totally true.
So
That's
you
totally
gotta,
true. Although we do get horny, but that's what your vibrator in your hands for.
right.
So.
Now, so Steve says, you don't know this man. He doesn't know you. He hasn't proven himself, and he could walk off at any time, and you'll have no one to blame but yourself. So he says to wait 90 days, which is 3 months.
Yeah.
Because usually then the facade has started to come down.
Well, you do actually start to really see who the person is. That's for sure.
Yeah. There's a quote that says, "Unmask him before you undress him."
Oh, that's a good quote.
So first you got to find out who he is before you get his clothes off.
Interesting.
And a man will wait. I actually did a survey a while back on MySpace, and I asked guys, "Hey, how long will you wait, to have sex?" And most of them said, "Hey, I'll wait as long. If I'm interested in the girl, I'll wait as long as necessary." A few bozos obviously said, "Hey, if she doesn't put out, blah blah blah."
Right.
But like 90% said if they were really interested in the girl, they would wait.
Huh. Interesting.
But we. We've been fooled into thinking, oh, he's not going to wait, he's going to go away.
Right.
But that's a total lie. There's this guy who's madly in love with me, been madly in love with me for years. We have never had sex. And he has never even seen me naked. Now, obviously, that's a big exception to the,
But you're not dating him.
No, but we hung out. But, he fell in love with me. I'm telling you, he is in love with me. And it wasn't because of sex, because we never had sex.
Well, no, that's true. That's true. Certainly, yes, they have to be, ideally, they should be in love with you before you have sex, and vice versa. You know what I mean? That gets tricky. That one's a stumper for sure, because, we all get horny, and I can understand, especially if you've really are with somebody, because let's face it, a month of being with somebody where you're probably at that point, if you're exclusive because you've had the conversation, and then you're with each other all the time, and you're kissing, and then you're touching. And so does he say, though, what level, like how far you can go? Does he get into that?
You can, there's kissing and,
Does he talk about oral sex and that sort of thing?
No, well, obviously that's part of sex. You're not going to do that.
So you'd be surprised what defines, like people think that,
Basically he's saying this is like a probationary period. Like
Yes.
when you have a job,
Yes.
there's a probationary period. This is the same thing. You have to find out who you're dealing with.
Yeah, I think it's great advice.
And then it's not like you're just making him wait and then boom, you have sex. It's like you got to put him through his paces. You got to find out who you're dealing with. Mm-hmm. And so it's
and then how long did Steve Harvey and his wife wait?
It didn't say that, but it goes, you need to look for the signs that you are, if it says, if you haven't been invited over to his house,
right.
if you only have his cell number, if he won't answer his phone when you're in the room, or he takes hushed calls in the corner, and he tells you he's dating other women, or somehow you just know it, then you're not going to have sex with him, even if you've been dating for 3 months.
Well, sure, of course. I've dated this guy, and it was all he's very superficial. He's 55, and he's never been married, and he'll never get married. Mm-hmm. And, one night, something happened. It was shortly, I think, after my dog had passed away, my other dog, and I started crying, and we'd been dating for a while. Mm-hmm. Well, it was weird, because he was, so not there.
Oh.
He's sitting right next to me. But it was weird. I remember thinking, whoa.
Oh, my God.
That was really my first big clue, because if a guy's not emotionally connected to you, that's your sign. That's your
if
sign.
you're crying, and even a friend would hug you if you're crying.
Right. But he was I think he tried to make a joke or something. He's a jokey guy, and
that's
not good,
not very funny. So basically, you're trying to smoke the guys out.
Right, smoke them out of the hole. Well, smoke them out before they go in the hole, I guess.
Right. But and then someone said on MySpace, they're like, if a guy he wants to hit it, he'll wait as long as necessary. And it's like, you know what? That's not true. Most guys are not. If they're just looking to hit it, they are not going to wait 3 months.
Right. That's true.
A few will. But then you'll see other signs of problems, and so he won't last 3 months anyways.
Right.
But if a guy's just trying to, hit it, and plus, if he's just trying to hit it and he's not going to put that much time in.
Correct. You're not going to see him that much. I mean, maybe, he's sending you a text once a week or twice a week, but you're not in a relationship with him.
Right. We're talking about there has to be time, not just 90 days go by and you've barely seen him. Okay, now it's time to have sex.
Exactly.
Because the guy can wait. He even states it here. You have to make him qualify for the benefits. And it's one of the mind tricks. He goes that, the guys have been playing on women since the beginning of time, is to convince you that all that waiting doesn't matter and that giving it up early and quick is the way to go.
Now, you and I both had
I know what you're going to say.
David on our show, who wrote the book Every Man Sees You Naked.
Yes.
And you know that he disagrees with that, huh?
Well, and he's a guy. What a surprise.
But so's Steve Harvey.
Yeah,
so are you saying that David's opinion as a guy does not matter when Steve Harvey's does?
Well,
David's a married man as well.
Yeah, but you know what? Also, that title, Every Man Sees You Naked, I've spoken to men about that, and they're like, this guy has psychological problems. We do not all see you naked. We may imagine what you look like naked, but they're not looking at everybody walking by as naked.
Well, no, he doesn't. I don't think he was saying like they're Superman, like with X-ray vision.
No, but
he's saying if you interact with a woman on a regular basis,
but he's saying they do it with everybody.
Well,
which is kind of wacky, but that's neither here nor there.
Yeah.
He was So I even called him on it on the show,
right?
And I said, no, you're not going to respect us if we have sex on the first date. He's like, yeah. But you know what? Maybe what the thing is? Maybe he's an enlightened guy, David. Mm-hmm. And if you're dealing with a guy who's enlightened, then he's not going to judge you for it. But most guys, as you know, are not enlightened.
No, that's true.
And so they will judge you for
right.
it, and they'll see you as a throwback instead of a keeper.
Right. That's true.
But that's not even the only reason not to have sex. It's, again, you want to know who the heck you're dealing with.
Right. Absolutely. Absolutely. So, I think though, Lucia, don't you find that, so many women and men, they don't really want to see, they don't want to like investigate or see the bad things that a person has done. Do you know what I mean? Like, if he's never been able to keep a job, or if he's, talks bad about every girlfriend he's ever been with, but yet he's telling you all the right things and smiling and doing all the right things in the moment, all of his backstory is like out the window. Mm-hmm. Because apparently his history doesn't matter, but his history does matter. And it doesn't matter if he's telling you the great things in the moment and smiling and saying everything you want to hear. If his history shows that he is a shitty guy, then he is a shitty guy. Yeah?
Here. Now, let's
or
see.
Shitty girl, vice versa. I don't want to just say, I'm not trying to back on the men at
Right,
all,
no.
in fact.
Okay, there's a couple more things I want to cover. I like this title of this chapter. It's Strong, Independent, and Lonely Women.
Okay.
It says, we men will do anything humanly possible to impress you so that ultimately we can be with you. You're the driving force behind why we wake up every day. And I've always said that. If there weren't any women around, men wouldn't be working as hard. They would just be working at minimum wage, just paying the bills. They couldn't care less.
Yes, I agree with that.
Men go out and get jobs and hustle to make money because of women. We drive fancy cars because of women. We dress nice, put on cologne, get haircuts, try to look all shiny and new. And we all do this because the more our game is stepped up, the more of you we get. You're the ultimate prize. And somewhere along the way, women lost sight of this. They don't think they're the prize. They think they're the beggars, and they need to beg the guys to be with them.
Right, and it's wrong. It's so wrong.
But it also says the guy needs to feel needed. And you can say, well, I'm an independent woman. Well, fine. You can be independent, but you're going to be a lonely woman too.
Right.
So no matter how successful you are, you still have to make him feel like he's the man and he's needed. Even if you're worth $100 million like Mariah Carey and Nick Cannon.
Right. Very, very true. Yeah. You cannot make a guy, and that I think too is why men cheat, because if they feel belittled, if they don't feel appreciated, then a lot of times, granted the act of sex is, an act of sex with another woman, but it's also about how she makes him feel.
It's totally about how she makes him feel.
Yeah.
And and also you want to elevate his alpha male status. That's another important thing, which as women, obviously we don't understand that because we're not trying to be alpha females.
Right.
Most of us aren't. And so if you increase his alpha male status, then he's more likely to fall in love with you and want to be with you. But if you cut him down, then he's out of there.
Right. If you belittle him and,
Yeah.
And the same thing, too, with, like, going back to being his mama, that it, I had this boyfriend once and I felt like, oh, I did that. I was pretty much his mama. Like, I got his credit into shape. He had bad credit. I helped him get a new truck because I, like, facilitated just whipping his life into shape.
Yes,
and
you're going to fix him up and he's going to be all yours.
And then he just went right out that door and he left. Now, thank God he left because he was a huge loser, and I'm blessed that he's gone. It's been years now, 10 years, 12 years.
Wow.
But, yeah, so that was the
can't.
thing. You do that, and then guess what? They're going to resent you and they're going to hate you.
Yeah.
So don't do it.
Exactly. Okay, so, and continuing on with this chapter, it says how to be a girl on a date.
Mm-hmm.
Don't tell him where you'd like to go. Tell him the kind of food and atmosphere you enjoy.
Right.
Don't tell him you'll drive. Let him get to you and let him get you where you need to go. If I just meet someone and they're like, okay, can you meet me here or can you drive down? It's like, no.
Well, if it's like if you do online dating or you don't know them very well.
That was online.
Well, no, you don't want them to pick you up at your house the first time is what I'm saying.
No.
Not the first time. So the first time you would meet him somewhere. But then if you've decided you like each other, then yeah.
But if he says, meet me at, if I'm in one city and he's in another and he makes you go to his city, it's
yes,
like, no.
now I see what you're saying. Right. Like I'm in Burbank and he's in Laguna.
Yeah.
Yeah. If he
come to Laguna.
Exactly.
Right. And I've actually stopped anything right then and there. I'm like, you know what? I think we're not on the same page, so I don't want to see you.
Right.
Because it's like if you're not willing to drive to me,
right,
then
oh, I completely agree.
We're not on the same page. Don't let him. Don't tell him you want to go Dutch.
Yes. Women want to feel. I know a lot of girls say, I don't want to feel obligated to.
Well,
the
you're
guy.
not obligated.
I agree. I totally agree. I agree.
So get over it, and obviously don't invite him up for a nightcap.
Right.
And then it says how to be a girl around the house is don't try to fix the sink, the car, the toilet, whatever, as if I would want to anyways.
Right.
Let him do it as if I'd know how to do it. Don't take out the garbage, paint, or mow the lawn. That's his job.
I used to love when I would have dates and something was wrong around my house.
Yes.
I would be like,
then you get it
by
fixed.
the way, can you fix my light fixture?
That's what I do.
Yeah.
I take advantage if there's a guy over. I'm like, can you
right.
look at this?
Oh, I would still do it. I just,
It says, don't do any of the heavy lifting. He was born with muscle, so let him be moving stuff around. Don't be afraid to make a meal or two.
Right. I see. Do a little cooking, do a little womanly.
And don't wear a T-shirt to bed every night.
Meaning?
Meaning, you want to look sexy.
Right. I know. I just wanted you to go further.
Do you, we have a little bit of time here, if I can find that part in the book. Oh, here it is. Remember when I was on your show? I came up with the theory that every woman should have 3 different men.
Yes.
And do you remember what those men were?
Yes. Well, sort of. You said you had one, I think, for sex.
Yeah.
And one who gave you advice. And one who took you to dinner or something like that.
Well, one for money. Or whatever, to spoil you, pamper you, whatever. Right. So he says that every woman probably wants 4 different men. So he's added an extra one in here. An old one, an ugly one, a mandingo, and a gay man.
Interesting. And you must expand on that because...
Well, the old one is for money.
Yeah.
The ugly one is he's so happy to be in your presence.
To be treated well.
That he'll do anything for you. He'll be running around, do errands, and do stuff you don't have time to do. He'll be like your little slave boy.
Yes.
The mandingo, of course, is for sex. And the gay guy is for conversation. And also
understanding.
And also to hang out and go shopping with.
Right.
So maybe I need to throw a gay guy.
But what does he say that... I mean, but then
he's just saying... that women need a lot of things,
right?
And that they'd probably need 4 men instead of 1.
But I wouldn't think he would think that a man should be like her shopping buddy.
No. He's not saying that that's what the man needs. He's just saying that's what a woman would like. But that's not what a man is.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I always said that I want to have a man who can cook and do hair and makeup, and then I realized that guy would be gay.
Yeah, he wouldn't be sleeping with you.
No, he wouldn't.
No,
so, darn it.
And I want to say, be so careful who you choose to go out with, because I say they can either make your life better or worse. So you decide. Do you want your life to be better and easier, or do you want it to be a lot harder than it should be? So you got to be very careful who you go out with.
Yeah. Well, someone once said the wrong man makes a woman messy.
Oh boy, that's very true.
That's
I mean, let's face it, for men and women, a bad relationship prevents them from doing great things in their life.
Yeah, because you're so worried about your relationship.
Can I mention my coaching thing one more time before we wrap it up?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, because
just give the website.
Empowering these ladies, they go to my website, selectiveandsingle.com, go to coaching club and sign up, or email me at info@selectiveandsingle.com, and I'm going to give you a good prize just for telling me that you heard me on Lucia's show.
Yes, please do
and
that.
Signing up.
Yes. So again, the book was Act Like a Lady, Think Like a Man by Steve Harvey. Thank you so much for joining us today. If you'd like to sign up for my free weekly newsletter where you can find out what's going on with me and, of course, get weekly dating advice, go to theartoflove.net. If you want to read an excerpt from my book, Lucia's Lessons of Love, go to lessonsoflove.net. And finally, remember that love inspires, empowers, uplifts, and enlightens.
Thank you for having me on the show.
You're welcome, darling.
You're listening to The Art of Love with your host, Lucia, right here on LA Talk Radio.